I've been run down. I've been lied to. I don't know why I let that mean woman make me a fool. Took all my money, wrecked my new car. Now she's with one of my good time buddies, drinking in some crosstown bar. Sometimes I feel like I've been tied to the whipping post, tied to the whipping post, tied to the whipping post.
Good Lord, it is Tuesday. It is our second anniversary year. Maddie, we got to work on that clip because that does not sound very good.
It came through perfect for me.
Came through shitty for me, but that could be me.
It could just be a latency thing. We'll get that worked out. I wasn't able to get the file put in. Ladies and gentlemen, we got
latency, tomato, potato. It is year 2 of the RAWBall podcast. God damn it, we made it. In the words of Bandit Darble,
we made it, and thank you to the band that just gave us permission to use music.
Actually, 3 of them. Cap's been doing a bit of wheeling and dealing. Going to be getting some new music on the RAWBall pod in the coming weeks, months, what have yous.
That was by the Elliott Davis Band. So thank you guys for letting us use your music. And we're going to do a lot more research and start promoting you guys and all of the other bands that have allowed us. So new year for RAWBall. Bunch of new shit's coming. Devin.
A lot of new shit's been going on. What about Devin?
Oh yeah. It's up to something season. But
it's up to something season?
It is we are all definitely up to something. That is,
it is up to something season. All right. Well, then there we go. We never know what we're up to, but we're going to be up to it. Oh yeah. Well, as we promised on the Twitter today would be Superbowl fallout, taking a look at the upcoming NFL draft, a little bit of MLB spring training, pitchers and catchers report this week, and also
this Friday, right?
Let me take an exact look. Pitcher and catcher report dates is February 14th and 15th. So tomorrow and Thursday, pitchers and catchers report to spring training. We start getting spring training games early March. Then we get opening day, March 30th, I do believe, if I'm looking at my...
I do. Remember, it's the early one this year. It's like the 20...
March 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah, March 28th, we get opening day. Hoo-wee. And we're going to look a little bit of Elimination Chamber, a little bit of wrestling. We got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, football season's over, so on to March Madness for stats for us.
We got spring training. We got pitchers and catchers reporting. We got March Madness coming up. We got WrestleMania.
Is spring training the most important preseason in sports?
Yes and no. Here's what I've always told people who are either baseball fans, casual sports fans. Here's the thing about spring training. Doesn't matter who wins and loses. Doesn't matter who's, doing this or that. Here's the key thing you're looking for in spring training. Number one, guys, are they staying healthy? Are they, anybody getting hurt? Are they holding guys back? Number two, batters, how's their swing look? Does the swing look good? Are they doing all their normal stuff? It's an eyeball test. Pitchers, they're not going to be throwing at full flux until maybe the last spring training game. And some of them not even until then. But okay, you're looking at spring training. You're looking at body language. You're looking at, late deals that are being made. You're looking at guys who are minor leaguers that may be getting the call up to be on the main roster starting opening day. It's just it's a lot of little eyeball tests. The wins, losses. Oh, so and so only threw 92 miles an hour. It's spring training. Jack off. Shut up.
You come back from, how many months has it been since October?
A lot of teams were out in September, so October, November, December, January, February, March. So you got 6 months off.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's going to take a minute to warm up. It's going to take a minute for you. You can't just get back up off of your couch and go, I'm going to throw 100. Oh, you can, but guess what's going to fucking happen to that goddamn UCL of yours?
Yeah, you're going to get TJ'd.
It ain't going to feel nice. It's not going to be nice.
No, it's not going to feel in any way pleasant.
The other day, I went to throw a couple pitches. And, boy, let me tell you, after about 10 pitches, my shoulder was like, hey, buddy, you should not be trying to throw this hard without warming up.
Yeah, you got to ramp. Even the best pitchers before, like, let's just say – mid-season, you're in June, July, August. They do at least a 25, 30 pitch warm-up before they go out to the mound. And, even then they crank it up as things go along. Ray, we're getting to the Super Bowl. I wanted to give Maddie some time to grieve, but if you just absolutely insist.
There's no grieving. There's no grieving. We're looking at a new dynasty. The grieving is already done.
I hate to say I told you so, but Cap told y'all asses so. I said I told y'all Chiefs, and I'm a Raider fan. I ain't proud of this knowledge. I'm not proud of these instincts that I have. But I told y'all Chiefs are winning the fucking Super Bowl, and there's nothing you can do about it. Doesn't matter who they play, doesn't matter where the game's at. Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Look at our telecast during the Super Bowl. They were down 10-0. I said, well, this is going to be pretty cool to see how they engineer this comeback. Well, they engineered this comeback.
Now, Raymond says, hey, guys, what do you think about the 49ers head coach saying he didn't know about the changes of the overtime in the Super Bowl?
Correction. Shanahan knew. It's Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback. It
was a different Kyle.
Right, Kyle Juszczyk, not Kyle Shanahan. Okay, Shanahan knew.
I did not see that report, so I was wondering if you had.
I actually, top story on ESPN right now. I'm going to share Captain's screen here for you, Ray. Kyle Shanahan asked staff to review OT rules with players. Kyle Juszczyk is the one who didn't know beans from apple shit as far as the playoff rules.
To be fair, he is a fullback. They're mostly expected to block and occasionally catch.
Which Juszczyk had a few catches in the Super Bowl. Yes, Shanahan was aware. And I got into this a little bit on Twitter with somebody that I cannot remember who, but they were talking about Kyle Shanahan. I was like, you realize in the 3 Super Bowls he's been in, he was an OC for Atlanta, ran up against Belichick and Brady. Twice as head coach for San Francisco, he's ran up against Mahomes and Reed. Cut the poor bastard a little slack. He's had to face arguably the 2 greatest head coach quarterback dynamic duos that we've seen in the last 30, 40 years. Give the man a little slack. There's all of maybe, apart from maybe 2, 3 teams out there that would cut their nuts off and sacrifice their babies to have Kyle Shanahan as their head coach.
He has definitely improved the 49ers from what they were years before. And mind you, they had Harbaugh at that point in time.
And they fucked that up because they didn't understand with someone who's as good as Harbaugh, you got to give him the reins. They weren't going to give Harbaugh the reins. Harbaugh went to Michigan, won a national championship. Oh, now he's coming back to SoCal, to San Diego. Pardon me, not San Diego, Los Angeles, and Mahomes is going to have competition now.
Yeah, and it's not coming from either of our teams.
Oh, never will. Harbaugh, Herbert, Reed, Mahomes, Raiders, Broncos. We're just going to have to kind of huddle together for. This is how this division is. You remember in City Slickers 2 where they're trapped, well, not trapped, but they're stuck out in the desert. It's nighttime, and they're all like huddling together to share body warmth so they don't freeze to death. That's going to be Broncos and Raiders fans. We don't have the coaches. We don't have the quarterbacks. We don't have the teams. We're just going to have to.
Hey. You might not have the coaches. Denver's got the coaches. Do we have the personnel? Not so much.
In any event, we're going to be in the cellar, and we're just going to have to huddle together for body warmth.
Yes, we will. Until
this whole Reed Mahomes thing blows over in like 20 years. Reed is going to be coaching from a hospice bed as long as he has Patrick Mahomes.
This is the start of a brand new dynasty, and I hate to say that it's Kansas City, but how long do we see it going? And Devin was...
Mahomes is 28.
Kelsey is in what, his 10th year, 9th year?
Kelsey, I think, plays for another season or two, and then maybe they move off of him. I'm not sure. It's going to depend just on health and injuries and, how he and Tay-Tay are doing. Tay-Tay got her T title, and now T-Kel and Tay-Tay are going to go to T-Town and do the T thing.
Hey, I'm more worried about Jason Kelsey. Did you see that man stumbling around drunk during the Super Bowl party?
If I knew that my brother had 2 more rings than I have and was banging Taylor Swift, do you realize how jealous and how fucking drunk I would be every night of the week, considering I'm the guy who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame? Well, Kelsey probably will be too, but I don't know. I would be drinking myself into oblivion if I knew my little younger brother was tapping that kind of ass and sporting that kind of jewelry.
You have to understand that nobody is happier for the Chiefs' win than Jason Kelsey. He is so happy for his brother. But the thing is I don't think other than my brother, I don't know of anybody else who would celebrate as hard as they did as Jason Kelsey.
Well, you saw the photo of him showing up into the Las Vegas hotel dressed like what's his name from The Hangover, with the satchel and the T-shirt, and
that was wonderful. I've got a clip I'm going to pull up real quick for on screen.
Oh, Maddie's got a clip.
I do have a clip. I'm going to present my screen.
All right.
Boom. All right. Back to tab. Look, Jason Kelsey on the right almost falls into this tree.
I think Jason has had a few cervezas.
While wearing a luchador mask, you could not ask for anything better from your big brother when you just won the Super Bowl.
You could ask for a little bit of, coherency, but it's the Super Bowl. But yes, alas, this is the world we live in now. It was the Patriots' world. Hello, Davey. It was the Patriots' world. Now it's the Chiefs' world, and we just live in it. And it's going to be that way as long as Patrick Mahomes is upright and throwing, as long as Andy Reid is able to waddle onto the sidelines. We're fucked.
Realistically, how far does this go for them? How many more rings does Mahomes get in Kansas City?
God, I mean,
I'm going to say he gets 7 or 8, and I hate saying that, but he gets 4 or 5 more in Kansas City.
Mahomes is going to equal or surpass Brady, most likely. Now, a lot of it, again, a lot of it's going to depend, and people, you can bookmark this clip. A lot of it's going to depend on Andy Reid, because the big difference, and I've listened to several other, very notable podcasts this last week. The big noticeable difference between Andy Reid and Bill Belichick. Players love Andy Reid. Like, they all say like how great a guy he is. Like, they love him. Belichick is kind of that.
You hear that from Brady though about Belichick, but that's just Brady. Not a whole lot of the other players have said that.
The players fucking hate Belichick. He's an asshole.
I mean,
the players
Mac
like
Jones
Reid.
Probably hates the entire city of New England at this point in time.
Well, at least Boston, surrounding suburbs. But the players genuinely do love Reid, and he's coached with many teams, and everybody that's played under him loves him. They really do like him as a guy. As long as Reid is there, it's going to be tough to stop them. Once Reid either retires or his health forces him to not be able to coach anymore, that's going to be a real trial by fire, because I guarantee you, and Reid comes from the coaching tree of Holmgren, who comes from the coaching tree of Walsh. This goes back 4 decades here. Reid is going to leave a lot of great guys in place when he goes. But still, when you don't have that one guy at the top, things can really change. So as long as it's Reid and Mahomes, I don't see, barring catastrophic occurrences, how any of us are going to be happy.
We did get a great meme out of the Super Bowl, though, with Travis.
Yes, we got a 35-year-old man trying to injure a 60-year-old man. Well, Davey, let's also remember Andy Reid is what you would call of generous proportions. And he's already had one heart scare in the last few years. And when you live in Kansas City and have a diet of barbecue and cheeseburgers and you're already his health is going to be a concern there.
I do think that Mahomes has the talent to get a ring without Reid, though.
I believe he does too.
Brady was able to do it without Belichick.
He was. I'm just saying, once Reid goes, they're going to find it far tough. It's going to be more swimming up current rather than with the current.
I think Ojiro Evero will still be a head coach candidate at that point in time.
Lordy.
It's okay, guys. He didn't want to be our head coach either.
Andy is very Paul E. dangerously in the well. If you got rid of the mustache,
if you put the mustache in terms of his hair, yes, but yes, very much so.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably exaggerating a bit. We've got the draft coming up in 3 months. Season doesn't start until
it's
April,
mid-April, isn't it?
Mid-April. So 2 months. 2 months until the draft, and then the season starts in September. And we all know when the season, like, we're going to be sitting here in October, the Chiefs are going to be 2-2, and we're like, Super Bowl hangover, this blah blah blah, and then we're going to be sitting here next February being like,
why did they make it again?
We're going to be like, fuck our lives.
While we're talking about it, Cap, do you want to pull up the score from the Super Bowl, and we'll actually run down the game itself?
Yeah, let's do that. Let me pull up the old NFL score, Super Bowl, share screen. So the final score from the Super Bowl, it was 25-22. I anticipated it being a tad more high scoring, but I didn't think it was going to be this close, nor I didn't think it was going to go a full overtime period. I was thinking it was going to be like 30-20, 31-21. I figured the Chiefs were going to win by 2 scores. And the Niners, let's not forget, the Niners had a 2-score lead. They were up 10-0, and they were still holding their own. The big change-a-rooney in momentum was that fumbled punt. One play,
and if
Mahomes takes the lead.
It was not fumbled by Ray McLeod. It was bounced
Right. It bounced off the leg. Yeah. That was the big whew. And once the Chiefs went up, you knew, like, they're fucking winning this. Because the 49ers, the way that team is put, and I'm not shitting on the 49ers. I'm not shitting on Brock Purdy. You said
this during the game.
I'm being anti-Vince McMahon here. I am not defecating upon anyone. But we know this 49ers team all year, they cannot play from behind and win. They came back and tied it up, but once that happened, I was like, yep, Chiefs are going to win this, because if Purdy has to play from behind and make plays, they're not going to win, because he cannot go tit for tat with Mahomes. The defense can help him out. His surrounding cast can help him out. But and when it went to
that defense helped him out so much that whole game.
Yeah. And when it went to overtime, I was like, doesn't matter. If Purdy goes down and scores a touchdown, Mahomes is going to go down and score a touchdown. They go down and score a field goal, Chiefs going to go down and score a touchdown. That's how we've seen this movie so many. It's like I know Apocalypse. It's my favorite movie, Apocalypse Now. I know that movie forwards, frontwards, backwards. I've seen this movie. I've seen the Chiefs in this spot. We all have. We know what's going to happen, folks. Unless you have a 3-touchdown lead on them going into the 4th friggin' quarter, you're not going to beat them. If they start to get even the slightest bit of you have to get up to a huge lead early and continue to pound the sass right out of them.
And like you said, this wasn't a high-scoring game.
It was not.
I am probably the ballsiest person whenever it came to predicting the score of this game, because I said it was going to be 42-28. I expected the 49ers to run it up that much going into that game. I expected that because that's what they had to do in order.
Number one, 49ers were going to put up that kind of points on this Chiefs defense. Number two, Purdy is not capable of putting up that many points in a game like this. It wouldn't have been Purdy, though. It would have been McCaffrey. It would have been Ayuk. It would have been Juwan Jennings threw the first touchdown of the Super Bowl. A wide receiver threw the first touchdown in the Super Bowl this year. It was a weird Super Bowl. But it was weird, but it was entertaining. But the thing was once we got to the 4th quarter,
How much better was this? How much better was this than the 2020 Super Bowl?
It was. I enjoyed it because there was a lot more defensive play. Felt a lot more like a chess match. But once you had that muffed punt, fumble, call it whatever you will, and the Chiefs took that lead, I was like, okay, now it's just a countdown until Kansas City wins this thing. There's no coming back from this point. Chiefs held them off for as long as they humanly possibly could, but that one tiny little hair of a mistake is all Mahomes needs. You cannot give them anything. He was the team's leading passer. He was the team's leading rusher. We're fucked, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is the world we live in now.
Now let's talk about a different set of numbers from this game.
All righty.
123.4 million people in America watched.
Up 10% from last year.
This is the most watched sporting event in American history. like TV
Yes.
wide. And I hate to say, I don't even hate to say it. I know a bunch of people will hate to say it, and I know a bunch of people are going to be irritable that I'm bringing it up. A lot of that view came from the fact that Taylor Swift brought a lot more eyes to the NFL this year.
She got 54 seconds of screen time during the Super Bowl.
And people are pissed off about that. That is much less than anybody else got screen time on that entire game. So if they're upset about that, go fuck yourself. But
and I saw this on, it was either Twitter or Facebook, I can't remember which, but it was some kind of an Illuminati number 13 breakdown of Taylor Swift's birthday, Kelsey's number, the date of the Super Bowl. It was like this 12-point Illuminati breakdown of how this is the Illuminati, the Trilateral Commission, all conspiring to fuck with I was like, for the love of Christ. I know I have very little to do with my time. That's why I do this. But Jesus, sweet Amesus, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you out there in La La Land, maybe ease off the mushrooms, ease off the LSD, ease off the Alex Jones. Trust me, Taylor Swift is no more than just a pesky annoyance. She is not some fucking Illuminati plant to fuck with football.
She's a celebrity going to a football game because she's dating one of the football players. What is so wrong with that?
Well, everything. She's a Roger Goodell plant. This is not a You're thinking conspiracy, but you're thinking wrong conspiracy. This is I tried to tell you folks, once T-Town or Tay-Tay joined this thing, we were going to Titletown, and they just unveiled the logo for Super Bowl next year. Everyone's saying, oh, it's green and purple. Oh, it's going to be Packers and Ravens.
It's red and green.
I saw green and purple for next year.
I saw red and green, and that makes me think it's going to be the Chiefs and Packers.
Oh, well, in any event, and it's going to be in New Orleans.
With the shade of green it could have also been the Seahawks.
No, they don't have a quarterback.
Dude, could you fucking imagine Geno Smith getting to a Super Bowl?
I can imagine him under an avalanche, a tsunami of awkward occurrences and circumstances getting there, but come on.
All right. I know we don't have a whole lot of like real football talk to get into until closer to draft season, but
whoa. Cap has prepared for this.
You have. Well, before we pass on to that, hold on. Raymond says, do you see Belichick taking over for McCarthy? And Davey brings up that Mike is in the last year of his contract. So if the Cowboys stumble, Bill would possibly get that call. Bill is
going into broadcasting for this season. He could be coming back.
I did hear about that. Also, really weird voice crack.
Uncle Bill is going to be broadcasting this season, but it depends. I can't. Here's my thing. Jerry Jones already made a deal with the devil once to win that third Super Bowl. Would he make a deal with the legitimate devil to win another?
Vince McMahon?
Bill Belichick. Would he make another deal with the devil? Would he bring in a coach who is going to get far more limelight than Jerry? Jerry doesn't like to hire coaches who are going to outshine him. As Jerry continues to get older, gets more senile, as the Alzheimer's medication, begins to take its effect, or if he skips a few doses, who knows? We could see possibly Belichick and Cowboys metallic blue. You never say never, but Jerry, I don't see him hiring a coach who he is going to have to compete with for the spotlight. That's my opinion. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, so be it. But I just don't see that happening.
Dude, it would be the smartest thing, I think, to give a quarterback as talented as Dak Prescott to a Bill Belichick.
But not if it's going to overshadow Jerry Jones. Jerry ultimately has to be the guy who gets the credit.
But here's the thing. Do you not see Belichick and Jones getting along? I see them getting along, and that's the weird thing, but it's the generational thing. What they're going to get along with.
I do kind of see them getting along.
I see them getting along with the generational fact of the matter.
Well, because they're both ready for the fucking retirement home.
Exactly.
And what is that going to do but alienate players who are under the age of 50? Anyway.
They're also, I think I heard about that. They're looking to bring Mike Zimmerman in at the
They hired Zimmerman. He has been hired as their DC, yes.
Yeah.
The Cowboys have hired Zimmerman as DC.
And Mike Zimmerman, very, very intelligent defensive mind. Look at what he did in Minnesota whenever he was the head coach over there. They didn't have the best offense, but that defense was top 5, top 10.
I had him on my fantasy squad when I won the championship in 2017.
Like Mike Zimmerman, you put out one good defensive coordinator, you brought in a fantastic defensive coordinator.
Yeah. And
you've got a really good defense out there in Dallas. Dallas is a scary team. I've never denied that.
You've got a very talented defense. It's can he get them to play as well on the road as they did at home? Can he get them to be situationally great?
I think he can. And you know what? I would not be hard-pressed to be ballsy enough to throw $5 on Dallas to be Super Bowl winners this year. I'm not even joking.
Maddie, you realize you are about to into the belly of the beast. In April, May, whenever you're making the move down to Fayetteville, you're going to be literally in the Bermuda Triangle of sports hell. You're going to be almost geometrically equidistant from Kansas City and Dallas, Texas. You are moving into hell.
You want to know the great thing about that? I will rock my blue and orange everywhere I go. Everywhere.
Well, I will say this: you will be welcome at Foghorns because I know the
difference. The big difference between me wearing my colors in down south, I'll get shot with a shotgun. If I were to go out to like Vegas or something, I'm getting shot with a pistol. So there's a big difference there.
Well, I will say this: the owner of Foghorns, when you down here, the owner is he's an Elway Bronco fan to a degree, so you'll at least be safe there. So as long as we just hang out and get drunk at Foghorns and eat chicken wings, you
have forgotten to tell me this. I've brought the wrong fucking jersey every time I've gone to Foghorns. I got 2 Elway jerseys.
Well, I mean, he's not there all the. I've only in all the times I've been there, which is probably in the hundreds. I've only seen him there 3, maybe 4 times sitting at the bar. Yes. When we go there after you move here, if I say, "Hey, Maddie, meet me at Fogg's," for whatever. Throw on the Elway.
Good to know. Good to know.
And I am super excited for you and Alora to be moving down here. I am super pumped about it.
All right. So, Cap, what have you brought up? What am I looking at?
Now that the season is over, we are looking at, as presently constituted, as I like to say, the first round of the NFL draft, the order. So, Bears have 1, Commanders have 2, Patriots have 3, Cardinals 4, Chargers 5th, Giants 6th, Titans 7, Falcons 8, Bears again with number 9, the Jets at 10, Vikings 11, Broncos at 12. Y'all just had to sneak right in there. You couldn't go another year without having a first-round pick. So
I
yes.
needed a first-round pick. I'm actually doing something for the draft this year.
But let's look at this. The Broncos and the Raiders pick right behind each other. Broncos pick 12th, Raiders pick 13th.
How stupid would it be? Sorry to cut you off. How stupid would it be if we literally swap picks just for you to move up one spot?
Hey, draft day makes strange bedfellows. Just ask Kevin Costner. Saints go 14, Colts 15, Seahawks at 16, Jags 17, Bengals 18, Rams 19, Steelers 20th, Dolphins 21st, Eagles 22nd, Texans 23rd, Cowboys 24th, Packers 25th, Tampa Bay 26, Cardinals 27, Bills 28th, Lions 29th, Ravens 30th, 49ers 31st, Chiefs 32nd. It is a bit early to start forecasting exactly who's going to go when and where. We're not Mel Kiper here, but we know there's going to be, for more or less, we know there's going to be 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round this year. We could be 4, but more. We're thinking it's going to be 5. Matty gets a first-round pick this year, so he doesn't just have to sit there twiddling his dick during the first round.
We're drafting a fucking quarterback, aren't we?
Well,
What the fuck's going on?
Now, here's the game I'm playing. I'm not playing who's going to be drafting who, what position. Here's the game I'm playing. Broncos go 12th. Raiders go 13th. 5 quarterbacks are getting drafted. Both teams need a quarterback. Do you see a world in where both teams select a quarterback? Do they trade? Do they move? Do they both take one? Who do they take? And again, we got 2 months to forecast and debate this thing. Do the Broncos take a quarterback first round? Do they take another position? Do the Raiders take a quarterback first round? Do they take another spot? We need a quarterback, but here's the other thing. I've also heard more than 1 or 2 rumblings that a certain number 3 in Denver could likely be heading to Las Vegas.
I swear to God, if we trade you Russell Wilson, I'm gonna fucking cry.
Let's spitball here. Let's throw some darts, you know.
No, I'm gonna throw a dart right now, and that dart's gonna hit you right in the fucking heart cap. If you guys get Russell Wilson, the entirety of that next week's fucking RAWBall podcast is going to be hysterical laughter coming from me while wearing my Russell Wilson jersey.
Denver trades the number 12 pick, or the Raiders trade the number 13 overall pick to the Broncos for Russell Wilson and whatever other pieces. That would give the Broncos the 12th and 13th pick in the first round. 2 back-to-back number 1 picks in the top 13. Because if we do get Russell, I can only imagine it would have to involve that first-round pick. So if the Broncos wind up with 2 first-round picks back-to-back this round, in the first round this year, you know you're taking a quarterback, you know you're going to be taking something else. And it is a very offensive line-heavy draft. So you could literally pick the quarterback and the left tackle of the future. If you just trade us Russell, we give you our first. You get 2 back-to-back picks. You get a quarterback and a left tackle.
So here's the thing.
I've been thinking about this all day. I want to get your thoughts.
we already have Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles is a fantastic.
And you do have McGlinchey, but McGlinchey is a little long. Not long, but little long.
McGlinchey is my worry. So I would want a right tackle. And here's the thing. If they are still up there, does Denver go J.J. McCarthy or do they go Michael Penix Jr.?
McCarthy, I don't see going first. Not that early. Not
You have
that
to
early.
understand, we have new owners and they own Walmart, Cap. They're gonna
Yes, and the headquarters of Walmart is about a half an hour drive north.
they are going to want a quarterback that was just like high level. What's higher level than in the fucking Natty?
Not much higher level. But again, NFL scouts are smart guys. McGlinchey, I see him as at best a third,
And-
fourth. He could sneak up into
here's-
the second round, but he's not a
here's the-
first round
But
quarterback.
here's the thing. If we do get Penix, that's all the more reason to get a right tackle because Michael Penix is a left-handed quarterback. His blind side is that right side.
Very true.
So if you get a right tackle with that and go Michael Penix Jr., yes, that's a quarterback that we have to develop. However, if we've got a right tackle coming in with him that develops that bond, as well as Garrett Bowles, who's already shown that he's one of the best left tackles in the game.
Well,
You've got something to build there.
Let's and continue to allow Cap to spitball here because I'm not done. You guys have Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. What if, and this is a big what if.
We talked about this last year, man. They're not going to be as high level as they were last year.
Let's say somehow something we've seen the last few drafts how crazy things can get on draft night. Let's say you guys flip Russ to the Raiders, get our number one pick. And then draft night, you flip Jeudy or Sutton to another team to get their first round pick a little lower down. Now, I want you to look, and this is, let me try and increase the size of this here.
1,000 games. Holy shit. Yeah, congrats,
Yep.
Brad Marchand. Boston Bruins becoming the only the 8th player in team history to reach 1,000 games.
So I want you to look at the teams that are picking after the Raiders who do not have a legit number one wide receiver. Bengals have already said they're going to franchise tag Higgins. Jags have theirs. Seahawks are good at receiver. LA's great at receiver. Steelers have receivers. Dolphins, they're good.
I'm not even
at the Colts.
I'm not even thinking of a number one because the Colts would be one to look at for a number one because Michael Pittman Jr. I believe was in his contract.
Colts
have to figure that out.
Texans are potential candidates. Green Bay. So you guys could potentially now this. I'm trying to give you sweet dreams here, Matthew. You guys could potentially flip Russell and then Jeudy or Sutton and wind up with 3 picks in the first round of the draft this year if you play your cards right.
That's a bit far because again, I don't see
I don't see it as being that far.
No, Jeudy will go for a second or a third. That's a guarantee. I can promise you that. However, Cortland Sutton did in fact have like 3 of the best catches the entire season.
Teams get desperate on draft day.
The only team I see that needs a wide receiver like that would maybe be Jacksonville, Indy. I don't see Green Bay because Green Bay is the.
What about these guys right here? What if you were to flip Jeudy or Sutton to Kansas City and get their 32nd? Because 32, that's basically early second round.
Basically the second round. I could see Kansas City trying to get.
You could flip a Jeudy or a Sutton and get to Kansas City, get their first, and you would have 3 first-round picks.
But do you want to see me throw up on draft night? Because I don't think I want to see Cortland Sutton in a fucking Kansas City Chiefs jersey.
The idea that within the course of 1 year, 12 months, the Denver Broncos, if they play their cards right here, because we saw Kansas City's receiving core this year, other than Rashee Rice slowly coming around, it was horrible. The Broncos could potentially finagle their way into having 3 first-round picks if they play their cards right. And if it's draft night and the Broncos get 3 first-round picks, Can you imagine the Maddie Daddy mania that we are going to be experiencing?
Well, so here's the thing. We have 3 opening.
You deal Rush, you deal Judy or Sutton, you get Kansas City's pick, you get the Raiders pick, you got 3 first rounders.
A quarterback, a right tackle, and if there's a good enough one in the draft, a tight end, because we've gotten rid of our better tight end in Noah Fant to get Russell Wilson.
But can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, it's draft night. It's RAWBall. It's April. We're doing our draft live stream, same as Grossi, same as Tree, same as everybody. And through a strange tumble of events, night 1, Maddie winds up with 3 first-round picks following the scenario that I just put to you.
It would be something, without a doubt, brother.
The amount of liquor that will be flowing through Maddie Laws's throat that night. Holy Mother Jesus Amesus. Will you be down here in time for the draft? What is the schedule? What is the
date? I'm
still
trying to get, we're still trying to find an apartment. We still haven't heard back from anyone. And
you got the Links just down the street, and then you got my complex right meow. If you guys are interested,
I shot a message, but I didn't get anything back.
I didn't give you the landlord's phone number?
No, I shot a message to said landlord, and I did not get a message back yet.
Okay. All right. I'll dig into that because they're coming to do some repair work this week. I will dig into that to find out if there's a townhouse opening up. It'd be $600 a month.
We could easily get that
here in this complex where you could literally have the Maddie, the Alora, the Cap, the John, all living within baseball's throw distance. This could be sweet. NFL draft. What is the date? April 25th.
Oh, it's the last week of April. Okay. So we should definitely be down there by then, hopefully.
So we could potentially have Maddie and Cap in-house for the draft, and Maddie gets 3 first-round picks.
I'd be a happy Maddie.
A happy Maddie. And you wouldn't even have to drive. You could just walk home. Think about it, though. If you guys wind up living in the same complex as I do, you wouldn't even have to worry about driving. You just walk to and fro. And there's a liquor store right across the street. And 2 bars. 3, actually. 3 bars.
Scratch, I would be waddling home.
Waddle. Well, if it gets too bad, I could probably just carry you home. But, I don't want to just drop you on the doorstep and knock on the door like, hey, Laura, pick this piece of shit up.
Raymond brings up, we might get a running back and let Tony Pollard go to free agency. Now, before we dig into that, I want to see running backs in 2022
it's not
draft.
I did read today the Giants have given Saquon Barkley permission because they franchise tagged him. They've given him permission to pursue free agency until time to tag him. So Barkley is on the market.
Okay, so I have a list from PFF, Pro Football Focus. I have a list of running backs going into the draft this year. Starting off with, let me
stop sharing my. Yeah, you go ahead and share yours.
Yeah,
Hey, I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Ooh. Yeah, NFL draft position rankings, running back specifically. We're going to start with Jonathan Brooks out of Texas.
Very good player.
He is over 6 feet tall, over 200 pounds. Shows impressive wiggle, ability, body control, long speed for a player with his build. So
now they have him ranked 84th there. So 84 divided by 32.
64th.
64th. Okay, so 64 divided by 32. That would make him a second round pick.
Yes, but again, if a team is kind of desperate, do you see them jumping at it?
Oh, very possible. We've seen the last few drafts. We've seen tons of moves being made on draft night.
With what they're saying about him, do we see him more like a Cedric Benson? Do we see him more of a, Derrick Henry?
Cedric Benson.
Hey, you have to remember, Cedric Benson was throwing motherfuckers back in the day.
Yes, and then he got into the NFL and motherfuckers were throwing him.
He was still throwing motherfuckers. Number 2 would be Trey Benson out of Florida State. He is ranked number 86th.
32. So that would make him a late second rounder.
Benson forced missed tackles at one of the highest rates we've ever recorded in 2022. This season hasn't been as flashy, but his speed, balance, and agility remain. So he's a quick back that makes tacklers miss.
And I just looked at Corcoran. That's 3 running backs in the third round if we're going off of this.
And
which makes sense. I can see 3 running backs in the third round.
He's out of Michigan. Vision is the most important trait for any back, and he has it. He also has elite contact balance. Size, stride,
elite contact balance.
So that means he's able to be hit and still stay on his feet.
Kind of a Pacheco.
I mean, that's actually a good comparison.
Does he have angry feet? Does he have angry feet?
His size, stride length limits his long speed, but outside of that, he is the total package as a runner. So I guess he's a shorter running back.
Bucky Irving, Oregon, 103. So that would make him a third round pick if I'm not. Yeah, that would put him high third round.
Irving earned back-to-back 90-plus rushing grades to finish off his college career with a 90.8 mark in 2023. Good for the third best in the Pac-12.
Look at this estimate kid, 5'11", 227 pounds.
That's a big motherfucker.
Yes, that is a bulldozer of a human being.
That's a big boy, but he's not tall. All right, his hulking frame makes you think he's a bruiser, but he has surprisingly quick feet for missed tackles and good explosiveness to convert speed to power in form of yards after contact. 94.0 PFF rushing grade is the best in the FBS this season. Damn. How is he only ranked number 5? Oh, it's because he plays for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So those are the top 5.
We do have a bit of MLB news to get to today.
A running back like Ishii, yes, without a doubt.
This is towards the bottom of the list, but since I'm on here solo with Maddie, I just have to point this out. I'm sorry, Maddie. Rockies' Daniel Bard to have surgery will miss spring training. Your expected closer coming up for this season has a torn meniscus, is going to undergo surgery in his left knee, will miss spring training. Bard, at the ripe young age of 38, suffered the injury during a throwing session about 10 days ago. My God. Does the ride ever end, whether you're a Rocky fan or a Bronco? Does the ride ever end?
Well, Daniel Bard, thank you for your service to the MLB. Tearing your meniscus is that's something. And at 38 years old as an athlete, I don't see him coming back from this.
Well, and let's add some injury to the insult. He missed last season because of anxiety and forearm tightness. He went 4-2 with a 4.56 ERA and 1 save in 50 appearances. Maddie, who are the Rockies going to have closing games? I mean, granted, you guys aren't going to have many games to close. I mean, let's just be honest here. Oh God, sorry. I had to slip that one in. Big news today. Giants agreed to a 3-year, $42 million deal with Jorge Soler. I like this signing. This seems like a typical classic perfect Giants signing.
I was about to ask because you and Davey have both said that Soler did not play up to his contract last year.
I don't think he's ever played up to his contract, but here's the thing. I still think Soler's a pretty damn good player, and you know how the Giants are. They take pretty good players and make them good players.
Does this get them to a wild card spot?
Oh, God, that division is so... You got the fucking Dodgers that are fucking loaded. You got the Diamondbacks who surprised last year. You got the Padres that are still loaded with talent. I mean, it's too early for me to make that kind of a prediction, but Soler certainly helps them. This division, the Dodgers, I mean, Jesus Christ, how they don't go 162-0 is going to mesmerize people. It helps. It's an extra hand, but it's a good extra hand. And you never know. Diamondbacks could feel a World Series hangover. Dodgers, we always know every year they're loaded. They always underperform to a certain degree. This could potentially be a wild card team.
Soler is a wild power guy. Like, if he makes contact with it, chances are it's hitting the outfield or over the wall.
Yeah, I mean, he hit 36 home runs last year for the Marlins, had an adjusted OPS plus of 128. Soler had a good year. And let's not forget the park that this is the thing people forget about MLB. You have to consider the parks. It's not like football where it's just a straight 100-yard thing. Giants Park is wonky. They've got what they call Triples Alley out in right center field.
Not only that, McCovey's Cove, you can hit if you are a power hitter.
Yes. The Giants Park is very wonky, but great hitters have learned how to take advantage of that. And if Soler can do that, I mean, you never know.
Give him a couple weeks out there. It's gonna be crazy. But Davey has a very good point. He's got a high K rate, decent OPP, but nothing special, no speed. He's got some tons power. But again, he's much more of a DH than anything at this point. But it's
a potentially good. Yeah, Giants lacked in power last year. It's a potentially good ad that could help them should Arizona or San Diego not, I mean, we know who's winning that division. Jesus Christ. Look at that fucking roster. The Dodgers fuck me running. But
speaking of LA, Raymond asked, is there any news on the Angels?
Nothing that I've heard of recently, Ray. Pretty much. I mean, I haven't heard of any real moves for the Angels worth a squat. This is the Angels. This is what they do. They don't do anything. Let me see here. Alex Cora addresses Red Sox future after a tough 2023 season. We can touch on this. Maddie's a Red Sox fan. Red Sox manager Alex Cora told reporters Tuesday that he feels rejuvenated after a physically awful 2023 season, but he said it's far too early to discuss his future in Boston coming this year. Cora is entering the final year of his contract with the team. I don't want to talk about that right now, he said to reporters in Fort Myers. He did note he's fine with his contract status as is, quote, like I've been saying all along, this is where we're at, and whatever happens in the future, it's going to be a family decision. He said, quote, I'm glad that I'm here. So, Matthew, you're Boston Red Sox. We're not doing our prediction show. We're waiting. We don't do our prediction show until we get, into spring training, like
I was
a
going
week
to say
before.
it's after the baseball draft, yeah?
Yeah, once we get like a week before opening day is when we'll do our actual divisional individual team, predictions and everything. and it's been football crazy for the last 7-8 months. Um, as a Red Sox fan, as our resident Red Sox fan here at the RAWBall podcast, thoughts on the Sox going into this year, pre-spring training, pre-everything. Last year was a weird year. I thought you guys overachieved, but you overachieved not because you were that good, but because it was the comp. I don't know what to make of the Red Sox, to be honest.
Let me ask.
Where is your brain right now?
Let me ask one question, Cap. You have
Go
followed
ahead.
baseball for much longer than I have.
Uh-huh.
How many years have the Red Sox been mediocre? Like recently?
Recently, mediocre. Quite a few of them.
Like if you could put a number on it.
Oh gosh, last World Series came in 2012, 2014, 2012, 2014, somewhere in there. So basically the last decade, the Red Sox.
We're winning a World Series this year.
The Red Sox have been either upper middle of the pack, but here recently lower to the pack. And you also just traded Sale, which I honestly think that's a good move for you guys because Sale is, I think he's shot. And again, Boston is a horrible place to pitch if you're a left-hander. He got by with it because of just raw talent early on in his career because he was fucking Sale. But Fenway, again, I mentioned Parks. Fenway Park is arguably the toughest place in the majors for a left-handed pitcher to pitch in. And to succeed there, you've got to be one hell of a fucking pitcher if you're left-handed. Maddie's already doing his victory dance. When we get to the Red Stitch rotisserie draft, so you have stated publicly you are abandoning the Japanese mustache strategy. You're muted.
This will become Kevin Youkilis's Dominican retreat.
Well, you've only finished dead last the last 2 years, so hey, why fuck with perfection?
Exactly, man. I can't fail if I go Dominican, right?
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, one of our biggest shows of the year, the Red Stitch Rotisserie League, which has been going on now since 2008, which Maddie joined a couple of years ago. Draft day is Saturday, March 23rd. One of our more fun shows of the year. Watch that show just to watch how Maddie goes about drafting his players. It's fun for no other reason than just to see how can one human being fuck up a draft so poorly. I
am literally going to have a list of every Dominican player in the MLB up.
Let's hope you forego one of them who may be incarcerated.
Very valid point.
Oakland to meet about interim home. Oh, Christ. Las Vegas mayor.
Are they out of the Rickey Henderson arena?
In an effort to find a temporary home in advance of a move to Las Vegas in 2028, the Oakland Athletics are expected to meet with Oakland city officials Thursday, San Francisco Chronicle reported, very respected newspaper. The team's lease at the Oakland Coliseum is set to expire at the end of this season, leaving it uncertain whether they will play for the 3 seasons in advance of a move to Nevada. We've already heard the Vegas mayor saying, well, if you come here, okay, but we don't really want you. So the A's, my God, this team, they are just fucked. Even the team's future move to Sin City has become complicated, with Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman saying last week that maybe a move to her town isn't the right idea. Quote, I personally think the A's have got to figure out a way to stay in Oakland to make their dream come true, Goodman said on the Front Office Sports Today podcast. Quote, I would be disappointed if we didn't open that stadium opening day 2028. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred said last week, quote, in terms of an interim home from 2025 to 2028, I'm comfortable with where they are in the process.
So what you're meaning to tell me is we have no fucking clue.
We haven't the first fucking clue what the fuck is going to happen to the goddamn Oakland A's
In the slightest. These guys
we're clueless at this.
These boys could be playing on a high school baseball field for all we fucking know in the next couple of years.
And it's so sad for a franchise that has 4 rings, not to mention a great history before they even came to Oakland, when they were the Philadelphia A's under Connie Mack, who is considered arguably one of the top 2 or 3 managers of the early era of Major League Baseball. The fact that this franchise is getting reduced to this it's really sad. I mean, literally a century from Connie Mack leading them to being not a championship team so much every year, but a perennial contender every year, to where a team without even a home or a name. As a student of the game, it just makes me sad, to be honest, that the A's have come to this point.
And not just the 4 rings. Like, look at all the Hall of Famers.
Oh, yeah.
All the records, man.
Well, it was also the A's. It was the A's who were instrumental in instituting the DH. You wouldn't have the DH date without the former owner of the A's. Was it Bowie Kuhn was commissioner at the time. A's owners history. Bowie Kuhn was the commissioner at the time. I remember that. Let's see, what was his name? Charles Finley. Charles Finley was the owner of the Oakland A's, and he and Bowie Kuhn, the commissioner of baseball, more or less put the DH rule into effect. God. Padres Manny Machado ramps up intensity after off-season surgery. Padres star Manny Machado, who underwent off-season surgery to alleviate tennis elbow in his right arm, has been throwing for roughly 6 weeks and has spent the last week or so ramping up the intensity on the field. Swinging a bat and fielding ground balls is a problem, Machado said. The biggest question, which hovers over his availability for the Padres season and opening 2-game series from South Korea on March 20th, is what my arm can tolerate throwing-wise.
Hold the fuck on. I feel like I just missed a big part of that. Did you say opening games in South Korea?
They're doing official opening day is March 28th, but they're doing a 2-game. MLB has done it. They've done this in Japan before. They've done this in Australia before. They're doing a 2-game opening between the Padres and the Dodgers, I believe, March 20th and 21st in South Korea. But they'll do that, then they'll have actual opening. This is not unheard of for MLB under Selig or Manfred. But yes, they will have a 2-game opening
count
set.
Towards the records?
Yes, these will be considered official games. March 20th in South Korea, which is great for baseball, because Japan, great baseball markets. I mean, I'm all for this. I have no complaints here. I wish they would do it maybe the weekend of opening week rather than a week before. But I mean, I love it for baseball that we're doing opening games in South Korea. I just wish they were doing it a week later. But in any event, Machado says he is just building up his arm, building up the arm strength. I'm on a great program right now. Arm feels good. How I'm holding up, just staying on the plan. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Your arm's fucking hurt, dude. You're trying to rehab it. And I have a Manny Machado signed baseball on my bookcase. I love Manny Machado. I sometimes I tire of these aw shucks. Well, I'm just working hard. Dude, you're fucking hurt.
I remember a couple of 2 home run games that Machado's put up on the Red Sox. I don't feel any sympathy.
Of course you wouldn't, you goddamn Bostonites. You fucking hold a grudge forever.
I mean, I'm a Denver Broncos fan. That's why I can't root for.
Do you really hate the Yankees that much? I mean, really? Is it that easy to hate the Yankees? What have they ever done to you? Except win.
I would bury a Dustin Pedroia jersey into the left field of Yankee Stadium if I had a chance. Like, I would bury that bitch 6 feet deep and refill it so that way they can't get it out.
Raymond asks, Cap.
You realize the Yankees and Red Sox have basically hated each other now for well over a century, and it permeates even this far, ladies and gentlemen. This is true sports rivalry. This young man, not even 30 years of age, is still pissed off that the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees to finance No Nanette.
You know what? The curse of the Bambino runs deep, goddammit. Ray asks, Cap, how much beer do you go through in this show?
Honestly, it varies from show to show how much beer I go through.
Honestly, it really does. Like, we can go through maybe a couple drinks in a show. I can go through 1 tall boy in a show. Tonight I've gone through 2.
I had 6 beers before the show, but then I took just under a 2-hour nap. Then I got up, took a shower, shaved, got dressed. This is my second tall boy. So when I finish this, I will have been 3. So once I finish, I will be on beer number 9 for the day. After I finish, I will have gone through 9 beers for the day.
So Cap hasn't just had 1 beer. What? He hasn't had 2 beers. What? He hasn't had 3. What? 4. What? 5. What? You get the point.
It honestly varies what I'm doing, how I'm feeling. There will be some shows where I will go through 12 plus. There will be some times when we're watching a game, or I think it was Super Bowl Sunday. I went through the entire course of the program. I went through close to 15. It varies.
Don't worry. One of these days on stream, we're going to do the Wade Boggs.
That's another thing we should think about honestly doing. No. This is no bullshit. You and I. Well,
we have to get Devin on this because I think Devin can. I think Devin's got the stomach for it.
We would have to see because I've attempted the bogs with one other. It was me and one other dude, and we came we came within like 4 or 6 beers, and then we just passed. We couldn't drink anymore.
You just beered out.
Yeah, we got to. I think what is it, like 76, 78? We came within a 6-pack of pulling it off. But that was with a guy who was my size. But you guys are not my size, but you also have outsized livers.
I was about to say, we've lived up in the mountains for how many years? 11?
So I was gonna say, but then again, Boggs did that solo. And when you start throwing in, multiple people, it might weaken it. I would be willing. Let's just say, okay, Maddie moves down here. It's a nice, warm summer evening. He's living in the same complex as I am. I'm feeling pretty good that day. You know what? I'm going to fucking call Maddie. I'm like, all right, live stream today. We're taking out Boggs. And it's going to be me and Maddie taking on Wade Boggs.
Is that a Guinness World Record? Like, is there a Guinness World Record for how many beers put away in one sitting?
I think that's Andre. Wade Boggs beer record. Okay, he's supposed to drink 73.
Devin can outdrink me. Yes, he really can.
So that would, and he did that. Let's just call it 24 hours.
Here,
'Cause
let
that's
me
it.
look up the Guinness World Record real quick.
So that's saying between Maddie and myself in 24 hours, the two of us would have to consume 36 and a half beers apiece. 36 12-ounce beers. Maddie, do you think on a given day you and Cap could pull off 36 beers apiece?
Yes. Okay, hold on. So you won't find it in the Guinness World Record book, but Andre the Giant holds the world record for the largest numbers of beers consumed in one sitting.
It was 117.
These were standard 12-ounce bottles, so 12-ounce bottles or cans, nothing fancy.
Yep.
But in a 6-hour period, Andre drank 119 of them.
Oh,
So,
God.
Cap, in order for us to
Beat Andre?
as a team, be the best drunks in the world, we would have to drink 120 beers between the two of us. That's 60 beers. That is 2 full cases between the two of us.
I would have to call in extra support on that. I would have to call in Dev on that because I'm thinking 119 divided by 3, that's 40 beers each. That would be
if in order to beat Andre, that's 120 beers. That's
Yeah,
60
so-
each.
No, that's 40 each.
120?
120 divided by 3 is 40 if we called in Dev.
If we brought in Dev. Nah.
If we brought in the National Guard to help us out here, that would be 40 beers apiece. But he did it in 6 hours.
Yeah, we would have to time ourselves for 6 hours. We would have to do a single 6 hour.
There's no way in hell.
In a
At my age?
In a 6-hour stream, you, me, and Devin would each have to put away 40 beers.
I couldn't do it.
That's what? 4 cases of beer. 4 cases of beer.
See, a case is 24 times 4. That's 96.
Cap, Miller High Lifes.
That's 5 cases of beer.
Miller High Life. Their cases come in 30. So if we get 4 cases of Miller High Life, and
you're saying the 3 of us take out 120 beers in 6 hours on stream
while watching,
we're gonna have to have piss buckets
while watching wrestling. Yes, we can totally do it. And
Good
you know
God
what?
Almighty.
You know what? Fuck you. I'm not gonna have to get a piss bucket. I'll go fucking get a catheter inserted.
Well, Laura works in medical devices, so she could probably show up and insert it for you.
I don't want. I. You know, now that I thought about it, I really don't want nothing going up inside of me like that.
Or you could just trust Dev and I to do it. We can just get like a plastic straw, hold your cock, and just shove the motherfucker up in there and put like a garden hose thing.
We ain't doing that.
No,
we ain't doing that.
But you love to hurt yourself on screen.
Who the fuck popped into the stream and popped out just whenever we were talking about that? We popped up to 7 viewers at one point, and hey,
Maddie, we're talking about your dick. Just keep going. We're talking about shoving things into Maddie's urethra in order to filter beer out that is going to be coming in at a very quick pace. We put
Point is, at some point in RAWBall podcast year 2, we're taking on the Andre.
I mean, you couldn't do it in 6 hours, but if you said, okay,
we can do it in 6 hours.
No fucking way.
We can do it in 6 hours.
What is this? Like the Bandit trying to convince the Snowman that they can make this run of Coors beer from Texarkana?
We can do this in 6 hours.
We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound. Just watch old Bandit run.
If anybody I know is watching, clip this, send it to me, or post it on Twitter.
in the next year for the RAWBall podcast, we can take out the Andre world record.
That would mean between the three of us, we would have to average. If we did it in 6 hours, that means we would have to average 20 beers 20 beers a piece over 6 hours.
Yes. We can totally do that. We will totally be able to pull that off. I guarantee it.
It would have to be like one of those perfect Saturdays where there's like baseball, like a hot summer day where there's baseball on all day. I've got MLB Network going. We're just drinking beer. John's manning the grill.
It cannot be a hot summer day. Do you want us to throw up? We have to be like moderately in like the fall time. We have to be watching professional wrestling. We have to be watching professional.
Honestly, my best beer drinking days have come on those like MLB Saturdays where I start with like the noon game and I just drink until the last West Coast game is done. Those are my best beer drinking days. If there's like a good lineup of games, I start at 11 or noon.
You like your house a little warmer than usual, so.
I do. I do that. My personal best, see, what was that? 70. My personal best on a given day, and this was, Jesus, sweet Christ, I'm 37 now. This was almost a decade, maybe like 8 years ago. My personal best on a given day is probably 30 to 35. And that's pushing it. Normally on a day like that, I'm like, I'll go through a case. But on a special occasion, okay, I can go through a dirty 30. If I start at 11, 12 o'clock, it's just baseball all day, all night. I got food going. I can take out a dirty 30, or I used to be able to. But I'm good for a case, maybe a case plus, but. Sweet Jesus, 120 that's 40 fucking beers each.
Bro, you really don't think we could do it in 6 hours?
Not in 6. Okay, if you gave us 24 hours in a sitting, I call 24 hours a sitting. I could to 30 plus.
Look, I can guarantee we'll be absolutely hammered. It would be one of our worst streams of all time, but we can totally, in a Guinness World Record, because Andre weighed close to 600 pounds. Between
more like 500.
Between
but
the three of us,
if you combine the three of us, that's about 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: we would have to have a legitimate sober judge keeping track of the empties.
Well, here's the thing. It would all be on stream. We would all be on one camera.
True, but I've done these things before, and things when you get that deep, things get lost in the shuffle. To do it legit, you have to have a legit sober party who is keeping track of empties. It's just trust me, you have to have one person. Who is keeping track of empties?
I think Alora would be more pissed off about the fact about how many beers we'd be putting away at once.
You have to have either a sober party to do the counting or a legitimate system of where to put the empties so that afterwards it's all done, you can count them.
Cap, could we call someone in from Guinness to come to your house?
We could call them. Would they come? I highly doubt it.
Yeah, that would literally be a Guinness World Record, like, stat taker.
120 beers in 6 hours. That's 20 beers per person in 6 hours.
You said 20 beers per person in 6 hours. It's 40 beers per person, but here's the thing.
120 beers divided by 6 hours comes out to 20.
Now, I want you to divide, the fact
Oh,
that
shit, you're right.
We each have to do 40, so divide that by 6.
All right. So 40 divided by 6, that's 6 beer, 6.6666666666666 beer. God, we're tingling with the devil here.
So what you mean to tell me is we just have to finish 6 beers an hour.
6 point, so roughly 7. It
About
rounds
7
up
beers.
to 7 beers an hour for 6 hours.
So you know the old Stone Cold adage, right? Half of it in me, half of it on me. Does that work? Will a statistician?
It has to
know
at
that?
least go in you first.
Good
And
point.
you have to refrain from projectile vomiting until we hit the 6-hour mark. We're gonna have to set a timer for 6 hours. Somebody's got to count this is a big enterprise that we're talking about here. Taking the 3 of us taking on Andre the Giant in a 6-hour period. Somebody may go to the hospital.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want Cap to pay for 120 beers for us.
How did I not see this? Good God, 120 beers. You divide that by 20. That's 5 fucking cases. 2 cases.
Or if you do Miller High Life, that's 4 cases.
You also have to think of the calorie content. You got to go light beer because, I don't know, High Life, you're looking at 140 calories versus 90.
I am not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, Cap.
Said Dwayne Allman, said Greg Allman, who wound up on his 3rd liver when he died.
On his 3rd liver? I still have 2 more livers to go. Let's fucking go, Cap.
Oh, for crying out loud. Well, we've covered baseball. We've covered Andre the Giant. We've covered Wade Boggs. We've covered alcohol poisoning. Let's, in the last half hour we've got, let's take a look at a little bit of the wrestling.
We got Elimination Chamber coming up, which for some godforsaken reason I have volunteered myself to stay up for.
That is Saturday, February 24th at 3:30 a.m. my time, 2:30 a.m. your time, live from Perth, Australia.
Cap, I want you to understand. This pay-per-view ends 30 minutes before I go to work.
These are not good things.
It's a good thing we don't cover football that Sunday.
Well, I was more getting towards the road to WrestleMania, and
we are on the road to WrestleMania.
I've got to say, and I posted this on our Twitter today, the work that Cody, Seth, Roman, Rock, and Paul are doing, Paul Heyman, I mean, the work that they are doing.
Hey, you have to put Paul Levesque in there too, dude.
I'll throw Paul Levesque, the 2 Pauls.
He's putting it forward too. Maybe not the best promo that he could have cut.
No,
but still.
But I am enjoying. I'm not sure how the undercard. I'm not sure how the undercard is going to fill out, but my God, they are making me interested and curious about how they're going to do these. They are doing a phenomenal job with
Davey is giving us the current card right now. So we got Judgment Day versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. That's going to be a very fun match.
Is this for Chamber or Mania?
Yeah, Chamber.
Okay.
Women's World Title #1 contender Elimination Chamber match. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Bianca versus 3.
Question.
World Heavyweight Title #1 contender Orton, Lashley, McIntyre, LA Knight, and 2 more. Women's title match, Rhea versus Nia. Cap, I know you're going to fawn over that match.
I mean, when you've got the sexiest woman on planet Earth facing Rhea Ripley in a wrestling match.
I almost died. You almost made me choke.
You just have to sit and marvel. I mean, Dev is going to be sporting a Woody. I mean, we all know. For those of you who don't know, we know.
Ooh, excuse me.
Dev is quite the well-equipped guy. He is going to be rocking a Subway footlong during Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley, and not for Rhea Ripley. It's going to be for the Battle of Cal. You have the sexiest woman in professional wrestling taking on Rhea Ripley. Sorry, Dev, had to throw that one in.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the thoughts of Cap, not
These are the thoughts of Cap to piss off his little brother Dev. I will say this, and I never. I guess it kind of goes back to sort of that old Jerry Jarrett philosophy of booking. There's always a way to book somebody. And however WWE, how they are booking Nia Jax on this run, they're doing a good job.
You're not saying it's working, man.
It's working because look who she's working with. Somehow, whatever they're doing, Nia Jax is getting over as a heel, and they've got her against Rhea, who is arguably the best women's wrestler on the planet right now, at least in North America.
I was about to be like, there's a lot of disrespect in that comment, but thankfully you said North America.
Well, no, I'm being legit here. We all know how great a worker Rhea is, and if you're trying to get Nia over for whatever reason, I don't know why you would try to, but if you're trying to get Nia over, who better to put her with than Rhea, who can have a match with any woman on the roster and make them look good.
You said get Rhea over. You meant Nia.
No. I said if you're trying to get Nia over, who better to put her with than Rhea?
Raymond said, "What did you think about the WrestleMania 40 teaser trailer?"
Have not seen it yet.
I don't think I've seen it, but let me go try to find this. WrestleMania 40 trailer. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's 2 days ago via WWE's YouTube channel. So let me pull this up. Hopefully WWE does not hate me for this. WWE, it's a 30-second video. Lick my left testicle. Bada bing, bada boom. Just a little 30-second spot. That was very well produced, but with the way that they produced it, Cap, are we getting Rock versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania?
That could be,
which is a really
impressive.
Weird dream match. It's a really weird dream match, but it'd be one that we never expected to happen.
I would be down. I mean, I'm down for anything Seth Franklin Rollins does. I love me some Seth Rollins. I do have a bit of breaking news / history here. I'm going to put this in the comments.
Breaking history.
For the first time in United States history, the House of Representatives has impeached a sitting member of the president's cabinet.
A member of the cabinet?
A member of the cabinet. Republicans pushed through the charges over solid Democratic opposition, making Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas the first sitting cabinet member to be impeached by the United States Congress. This has not happened in the entire history of the country. That is coming straight from the New York Times.
Now, I might have spaced out a second, but did they explain why he was impeached? Like
over his border policies.
Okay.
I haven't dug deep into the story. This just literally just 30 seconds ago came across my
as
personal news feed.
As a Hispanic, you know my feeling on border policies and shit like that.
Yeah. But yes,
like half of my family either not supposed to be here or got their way in. So
let's see.
I've always been more for the immigrants than anything else.
Here is the story off of Twitter rather than my personal. I subscribe to the New York Times, so let's see here. Yeah.
If you want to pull it up on your screen, I will adjust the. There you go.
Okay. There we are.
Exactly, Davey. Fucking exactly. This country was formed by immigrants. How can we try to deny immigrants coming into the country?
It was 214 to 213. So one vote. By one vote, they impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland Security on his border policies. Let me see here. In a lengthy statement, Biden called the impeachment vote a, quote, blatant act of unconstitutional partisanship, noting that Mayorkas and his family are Cuban immigrants who came to the United States as political refugees. The president also criticized Republicans for rejecting a bipartisan border security bill, quote, giving up on real solutions right when they are needed most, end quote, in order to play politics. And he urged the House to pass the Senate's National Security Supplemental Bill, which Speaker of the House Johnson has said he will not bring to the floor for a vote, which, for those of you unpolitically educated, the Speaker of the House of Representatives decides what comes to the floor for a vote. And if the Speaker says we're not even going to discuss it or vote on it, it's not even going to happen. And presently, I believe the House is controlled by the Republican Party, if I am not mistaken. Let me examine this here.
No, I don't know. I don't know much about politics at all. But as you know, heavy Latino, I'm
You're
much
Latino?
more for Latino, Hispanic, whatever you want to call me. But I'm all for the immigrants. Like, as Davey pointed out, our countries were both founded by immigrants. People coming over to the land and finding out what it was and founding it.
So we presently have 435 members of the House of Representatives. We have 219 Republicans. Yes, they control the House, to 212 Democrats. We have 4 vacant seats for a total of 435. So the Republicans passed this by one vote, more or less a strict party majority here, though they failed in their first attempt to do it. We're getting into election season, folks. As we said, this is going to be an interesting one. We've got Super Tuesday coming up in March. Trump has already won Iowa. He has already won New Hampshire. Super Tuesday, depending on what Nikki Haley does, this could very well be a clean sweep for Trump, because if he just has a big run on Super Tuesday, he's going to get the nomination, barring some kind of craziness. So we're looking at Biden, Trump too. Not to equate that with Ali Frazier too, but yeah, Biden, Trump too. Yeah, this is where we are, folks. You have, for the first time in the history, this is 2023. Let's just say 2023 minus 1776. For the first time in the 247-year history, a member of the president's cabinet has been impeached by Congress by a one vote, based strictly because one party holds that particular chamber. This is historic. We have never had this happen. We have never had this happen in the history of the country. And they couldn't impeach the president, so they're going to impeach a member of his cabinet.
This cabinet.
Yeah. This is where we are, folks. This is the best we can do.
And again, I don't follow politics because my grandfather always told me, if I don't know about it, don't talk about it. But there's certain things that I do know a little bit about. And the fact that the Republican Party is heavily against people coming into the country is kind of telling.
Well, the Republican Party is basically against anything that isn't Jesus Christ throwing a touchdown pass to a heterosexual couple's firstborn male child in the backyard during a barbecue. I'm taking a look. One of my favorite sources for polling is Real Clear Politics. They're pretty consistent with their info. Their polling. They're off occasionally, but they're a fairly good sign. And I'm looking at the primaries coming up. Tonight is actually the South Carolina presidential primary. Trump is projected to win by 35. There is not a single presidential primary at this point that it appears Trump will lose. I'm looking at general election polling right now. The thing you have to remember, folks, and believe that this is, yes, you see this huge library behind me. I was also a political science major in college. This is shit I've studied my whole life. I'm not just tooting my horn here. This is not, just one asshole talking into a live microphone. But I am looking at different polling, and the way to judge if a poll is trustworthy or not, you want to look at the sample size. The larger the sample size, the more trustworthy. The smaller the sample size, the less trustworthy. But I am looking at the polls, the most recent ones coming into this election, and of the 3 polls conducted in the last, actually, let's take a look at the last week here, because you got quite a few here. Sample size here. NPR. Let's just kind of calculate these all up here, just for sake of argument. Economist, YouGov, NPR, Marist. So that's pretty much a wash. TIPP, Trump, they lean a little bit more right wing. Marquette University has it as a tie. NPR, Marist. I don't see any Gallup polls in here. Gallup is traditionally the most respected overall polling group in the U.S. But everything I'm seeing based off of respected polls is showing Trump winning this thing narrowly, not by any kind of a landslide, but I'm looking at about a dozen different fairly well respected polls here showing Trump winning this thing narrowly. NBC News, what's the this is actually pretty interesting. Sunday, February 4th, NBC News, not the greatest polling organization on earth, but they're showing that whether it's Trump or Haley, either one would defeat Biden. And NBC is fairly left-leaning. So that, to me, tells me Trump's got a damn good shot of winning this thing. And that makes me very trepidatious.
I was just looking into it because I was trying to figure out if the bracket was already out. No, Selection Sunday for March Madness is in a month.
Yes, it is, which should be a show we should actually try and cover. March Madness begins, I believe
March Madness made us money last year.
I believe March Madness begins March 21st. Thursday, March 21st.
19th is when round 1 starts.
Well, those are the play-in horseshit games. The 21st is when it actually starts. But Selection Sunday is the 17th. So Sunday, March 17th, that would actually be a good one for us to look at. Yeah. Let's see here. what are these particular polls here? God, everybody has a poll these days. I would need to. I'm not digging into this too deep yet because it's way too fucking early. But when Cap starts putting in his predictions based on his experience and knowledge of this, I'll start looking at polls and giving my opinion based on those polls. But from what I'm seeing right now, everything is telling us it's going to be a Trump victory. But it's February. The votes aren't cast until November. But phew.
And as
Could get hairy.
As a couple people who have actually witnessed what people act like in a Trump America, it's not pretty.
No, it is not. One thing that kind of does surprise me, and I'm looking at the most recent NPR PBS Marist poll, which is I love NPR. I'm a paying. I love NPR. You guys are awesome. But I'm looking at their most recent poll as of February 7th, which is just under a week ago. They're only showing Biden +1. So if a very left-leaning organization is showing Biden only winning by 1, that tells me it's probably more Trump, at least even maybe ahead. You have to take these things into account, folks. But once we start getting some larger sample size polls, these are early numbers. I mean, what is the sample size here in that one? So the morning consult, this looks like, okay, so this is 6,164 registered voters, by far the largest sample that I'm looking at from the morning consult. And right now it's showing Trump by 1. So, and again, when you're looking at quick little education, folks, when you're looking at polls, look at sample size, look at margin of error. The larger the sample size, the lower the margin of error. So right now, if I'm going off that, they have a plus or minus of 1. They're showing Trump +1, 43 to 42. So yeah, that's more or less where we are.
All right. Davey's giving us some wrestling stuff. Dax versus Moxley tomorrow night. That's going to be a hard-hitting match. Ospreay will be at Revolution.
Yes.
Okada is expected to be AEW bound. I don't think many people truly expected him to be going to WWE.
I didn't really either. It seems like an off fit.
And another thing that we didn't expect, D'Amore leaving TNA was not mutual. Yeah, no. Scott D'Amore helped rebuild TNA, helped get them back to where they needed to be. And Cap has been on air several times saying that Impact should have been dead several times at this point.
They are the promotion that will not die.
But it's people that give a shit about the promotion that have refused to let it die. And Anthem firing D'Amore is one of the most brain-dead decisions that they could have possibly ever done. And last thing, Adam Copeland versus Daniel Garcia also is tomorrow. Winner faces Christian at Revolution. I want to see Garcia versus Christian at Revolution. I feel like we've already seen Copeland versus Christian a bunch at this point now. But other than that, Cap, we got about 10 more minutes. Anything you want to point out, plug? We've got about 10 days, 11 days till the Australia show. We've got 2 months until WrestleMania. What do you want to plug, Cap? Now that
RAWBall podcast every single Tuesday. You're going to have, at this point, I believe, Maddie and Remy covering Elimination Chamber. Cap is going to be sailing with the Sandman at that point. But if for some reason I should wake up in the middle of the night, you never know there. We have MLB pitchers and catchers reporting this very week over the next couple of days. Spring training games start in March. We have Selection Sunday. I believe we mentioned was going to be March 17th. would be Selection Sunday. We'll all be doing our brackets and whatnot. We have NFL free agency franchise tags. That's going to be happening over the next month. The NFL draft is going to be Thursday, April 25th. That will be a live stream for us that night. As I presented in the scenario at the kickoff of the show, Matty could wind up with 3 first-round picks for his Denver Broncos should they trade away the right people. It's potential. We also have the annual Red Stitch Rotisserie draft, which will be Saturday, March 23rd. One of our oldest going baseball league, Saturday, March 16th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Davey, is going to be the new Yahoo RAWBall baseball draft. So we're going to have 2 baseball drafts there. Lot going on this spring. No football, but we're keeping busy.
But there will always be football news coming through still.
Always be football news. Just we're getting ready. Hey,
WrestleMania. Look at me. We fucking did it, man. RAWBall Red Zone every 18 weeks. People didn't think we could have done it, but we did it, dude.
Oh, we did it.
The RAWBall podcast catched every single game put out by the NFL this year.
We did it, and they didn't.
So we had a hell of a year. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for supporting us over RAWBall Podcast Year 1. As you see it in the title, this is RAWBall Podcast Year 2. This is just week 1, baby. We're going all the way this year. Hopefully,
stay with us this spring. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Hopefully, we
Draft,
don't have to take
madness,
as many hiatuses as
baseball, fantasy. We got a lot of shit brewing. WrestleMania. Not going to say too much just yet, but WrestleMania weekend or WrestleMania week.
Season. It's up to something season.
Could be some big happenings WrestleMania week.
We are all up to something. We are all up to something. So, with that being said, I have about 6 minutes before we go off air. The Greg Cherry Show is going to be going on hiatus.
Yes.
My good friend Greg has been feeling a little bit of burnout, and he has decided to take a little bit of time off from doing the Greg Cherry Show, the Greg Cherry brand. And on behalf of the RAWBall podcast, on behalf of me personally, as somebody who Greg has given a platform whenever I left WrestleBuddy, he allowed me to be on his show every week after that.
Yes.
And I became a regular co-host of his show. I want to thank Greg Cherry from the bottom of my heart for everything he has done for me, for everything he has done for the channel. He has popped up on our channel so many times. He's retweeted our stuff so many times.
Our resident Yinzer apart from you, Tree.
Yeah. Greg, he really has meant a lot to me as a person, as somebody I've worked with over the years. So take the time off. Do what you need to, brother. We'll support you. If at any point you want to come on our show, let us know. And
Greg, you have an open invitation, my friend. Thank you for all the times you entertained me with your show.
And without a doubt, one of the smartest minds in wrestling trivia there is. So I want to thank Greg Cherry for everything he's done for me. It really has meant a lot throughout the last about 2 years that I've been working with him. So on behalf of the RAWBall podcast, on behalf of me, thank you, Greg Cherry. Take your time. And once you get it started back up, you'll see me as your co-host again. But other than that, I believe this is the point in the show where I remind all of you to stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated.
Don't get arrested.
don't get arrested. Don't get pulled over.
Over in the state of Kansas.
Except in Indiana. And
that should actually, whenever we actually do establish the 10 commandments of the RAWBall podcast, we just need to take that and do like an asterisk disclaimer at the very bottom, except in Indiana for all of these.
Except in Indiana for all things.
Everything is applicable. It's except in the state of Indiana.
And once again, thank you as much as we can to the Elliott Davis Band for allowing us to use your version of the whipping post for the RAWBall podcast. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We will catch me Wednesday on the Logo podcast with Remy and Shug. And
Kat may just be in the comments, just to infiltrate and stir some shit.
Catch absolutely everything else we do. Follow us. We're going to the moon, baby.
At RAWBall 123, ladies and gentlemen.
We love you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.